Okay, let's talk about something that pretty much everyone is feeling these days. It's this quiet drain on our energy, this thing that just seems to dissolve our focus. We're going to dive into what's being called the silent collapse of attention. This quote really hits the nail on the head. It's a crisis that's just running in the background of our lives, and it's so perfectly woven into everything we do that we barely even notice its grip on us. I mean, be honest. Does this sound familiar? If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. This feeling of being scattered, of starting one thing only to get immediately pulled to another, it's become the defining experience of our time. But what if the reason for all this isn't what you think it is? All right, let's start with a really crucial idea. Because when we struggle to concentrate, our first instinct, almost always, is to point the finger at ourselves. This is that internal voice, right? That little monologue so many of us have on repeat. We frame this struggle as some kind of personal failure, a flaw in our character. But what if that's exactly what the system wants you to think? So here's the big takeaway. Your struggle to focus isn't a sign that you're weak. It's actually a completely natural response to an environment that has been meticulously, brilliantly engineered to capture and then shatter your attention for profit. It's not a personal failing, it is the design of the system. So to really understand this design, we need a new way to picture it. It's not a cage, it's not a prison. No, it's something way, way more subtle. This table really highlights the massive shift that's happened. Think about it. Distractions used to be separate from our lives. Things we had to actively go find. Today, they are literally woven into the tools we need for work, for family, for everything. The distraction isn't just a visitor anymore. It lives in the house with us. And that is the perfect metaphor. This system doesn't use brute force. It works through this gentle, constant, and, let's face it, socially accepted pull. It's that endless stream of notifications and infinite feeds that just kind of guides us along without ever feeling like we're being forced. So how does this velvet leash actually work on a biological level? Well, the key is a little neurotransmitter that we all talk about but often misunderstand. Now, this is a really critical distinction. We've all heard that dopamine is the pleasure hormone, but that's not the whole story. It's really about the thrilling possibility that the next thing might be amazing. It's the engine of seeking, not the reward you get when you find something. That's what keeps you scrolling. And that seeking impulse is exploited in this incredibly powerful loop. A stimulus, like a notification, creates that anticipation, which drives you to take an action. But here's the sneaky part. The reward is uncertain. The next video might be brilliant, or it might be totally boring. It's that maybe, that slot machine logic that makes the whole cycle so addictive and keeps us coming back for just one more hit. So what's the consequence of being stuck in this endless cycle? It's profound. Our brains are literally being reconditioned. We get so used to these constant, fragmented little bursts of stimulation, the fireworks, that deep, sustained focus on one single thing, that steady candle, starts to feel impossibly slow, even painful. And this rewiring of our brains, it isn't just about losing a bit of productivity at work. The cost is so much deeper. It actually touches the very substance of who we are. For so many of us, just getting through a dense book, which needs that long, sustained attention, has become this huge effort. Our minds, which are now trained for skimming and jumping from one thing to the next, they actively resist the kind of immersion that deep reading demands. And this affects our most important relationships. I mean, when our attention is constantly fractured, we can't offer our full presence to another person. We're listening with one ear, while our mind is already anticipating the next notification, the next little hit of distraction. Ultimately, a person who can't sustain their attention loses more than just a skill. They start to lose substance. They become this collection of fleeting impulses and reactions, like an agitated mirror that just reflects all the constant noise around it, but no longer has any depth of its own. And that's why this matters so much. It's a crisis that's playing out quietly inside our homes, inside our relationships, and inside our own minds. It's the slow erosion of the very presence we need to live a meaningful life. So, what in the world can we do? The path forward, it turns out, isn't about finding some new productivity hack. It's about reframing the whole solution as an act of deliberate, conscious resistance. The good news here is that you don't need some grand, dramatic gesture to fight back.
Resistance can actually be found in these small, quiet, and almost revolutionary choices we make every single day.
I mean, just look at these. Every single one is a small rebellion against the attention economy. Waking up and giving the first moments of your day to yourself, not a screen. Walking outside and just being present with your own thoughts. Enduring a moment of boredom without immediately reaching for a device. These aren't just tips, they are powerful acts of reclaiming your own mental space.
And this reframes the entire battle. It's not really about technology being good or bad. The real conflict is happening inside you. It's the moment to moment choice between a deliberate life guided by your values and a reactive life just being pushed around by your impulses.
So let's end with this thought, because when you boil it all down, the sum of your days is simply what you paid attention to. Our attention, it's the currency of our life. And maybe the most important question we can ask ourselves is, who or what are we spending it on?